Okay, so we're looking at perpendicular lines. So the excuse me, there's a connection with parallel lines that we'll make, but at this stage, lines are perpendicular if they meet at a right angle. So for instance, I've got this brown line 1 and line 2 and line 3 both meet at a right angle. So line 2 meets line 1 at a right angle, so they're perpendicular to each other. And line 3 meets line 1 at a right angle, so they're perpendicular to each other. And so, just as a sideline, if they're both at a right angle and they're both perpendicular, then line 2 and line 3 are going to be parallel to each other. But that's not so critical. Just need to know that if two lines meet at a right angle, they're perpendicular. Okay, so copy that and come across. So again, if we've got the gradient, so if one gradient is m1 and the other gradient is m2, when they were parallel, which was the first video, they were equal to each other. But when they're perpendicular, this time when you multiply them you get an answer of -1. Or the other way to look at it is if you've got one gradient, you turn the other gradient upside down, reciprocal, and put a minus sign. So what that means is if one gradient's 2, if they're perpendicular, turn 2 upside down and put a minus sign in front of it. So if one gradient was, I don't know, -3/5 and they're perpendicular, turn 3/5 upside down, and this time make it a plus sign. So you just change the sign to the opposite. So you turn it upside down, get the reciprocal, and you change the sign. So come across and we'll have a look at some more examples. Okay. So when you're finding the perpendicular gradient, you've got to find the parallel gradient first. So in the first one, the parallel gradient is 2. So the perpendicular gradient is turn it upside down and change the sign. In the second one, the parallel gradient is -3. So you turn 3 upside down and make it a positive, so make it a third, and change minus becomes a plus. Now in this last one, you've got to rearrange it. So first thing is take x across the other side, so 2y equals -x plus 3, and then divide both sides by 2. So we get -1/2x plus 1/2, and so the parallel gradient is -1/2, and then you turn 1/2 turns into 2 upside down, and minus becomes a plus. Okay, so you'll get some practice on those ones. Okay, so harder example of perpendicular lines. Find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to 2x plus 1 and it passes through a point. That's the x and that's the y. So, first thing you do is, the gradient that's parallel is 2. So now we know that the gradient perpendicular is turn 2 upside down and change the sign. And then we've got y equals mx plus b. We need to find the b value. So 2 goes out the front, -1/2 is the gradient, x is 6 plus b. So 2 -1/2 times 6 is -3 plus b. -3 goes across. So b equals 2 plus 3 equals 5. And so your final answer is y equals -1/2x plus 5. Okay, so you'll be getting some practice with those ones. Okay, so on those same worksheets that we did for parallel, we're just going to change the questions to a different set. Okay, hope you enjoy. I'll be around.